Holy crap. Reverse repo. These numbers have never been seen before. Nobody's even thought of, it never even crossed anybody's mind this would happen before. Over $250 billion. It went up by over $250 billion in one night last night. What's happening? I can explain it real quick. That what's happening is all the banks are taking their money, okay, and they are shoving it at the Federal Reserve Bank and saying we don't want it. That is what's happening. That's what reverse repo is. They're saying we do not want this money. Um, so why would banks? People would say, "Oh, that's good. That's good, right? The banks got so much money they don't know what to do with it all." No, it's terrible. Okay, because if we were in some kind of healthy economy, let alone, I know everyone, the politicians will tell you it's red hot. Oh, we can't get any better than what it is. No, in a healthy economy, let alone a red hot economy, in any economy that's not on life support, the banks take the money that they have and they loan it out. Okay, they loan it to people that want to expand their existing business. They want to loan it to people that want to buy a factory. They loan it to people that want to buy a new car. They loan the money out. Okay, so they don't shove it at the government saying we don't want this money because we're not going to loan it, and we're not sure as hell don't want to pay any interest rates on this money that we're holding. So take it the hell back. And that's exactly what's happening in numbers that are absolutely incredible. Incredible. So this is a sign that the economy is on life support, and that things are going to get much, much, much worse. I mean, the banks won't lend. They're taking all their money and throwing it back at the government. It's just absolutely incredible. So that none of this means that this is not the kind of thing that played out. It did play out. This exact same, similar thing played out before the COVID crash. They call it, but I think I personally don't call it the COVID crash because I think it was going to happen no matter what. But the same thing happened, but it happened like 3 or 4 months before the crash, and everybody is kind of trying to figure out what does this mean? What does that mean? Well, we know what it means now because we've seen this before. Um, Regardless, it does not mean that the stocks can't go up. Okay, the stock traditionally went just before a massive crash, and I believe we are going to have the biggest crash of all time. But traditionally, right before a massive crash, the shit goes straight up for like a month and a half, and that's your signal to get the hell out. That it's over. There's no it, so, I mean, if you're foolish enough to think that the economy is going great and that's why the stock market is going up, follow the money. Okay? Don't be a dumbass. Follow the money. If the economy was doing so good, why do the banks not want any cash? They don't want cash because they're not going to lend it to anybody. And if they're not going to lend it to anybody and they can't make any money on it by lending it out, what good does it do them? It does them no good. And we're seeing that play out right now. In my opinion, we cannot make it through the year without a life altering crash. And I do mean it is going to be life altering. It's not just going to be an up and down thing like they did with COVID because they printed up so much money. The stocks had to go up. There was no choice, apparently. Um, no. The Fed is going to lose their credibility. Okay, our central bank is going to lose their credibility, and the stocks are not going to go back up. And even when the stock market wants to go back up, the companies are going to be desperate, and they'll start selling more shares to keep money flowing into the companies. Um, I do believe it happens this year. It's going to be complete destruction in the stock market, and in the other markets too. And of course, complete destruction doesn't last forever. What's likely to happen is that the people in charge will say, "Well, the problem is that we didn't print up enough, we didn't borrow enough money, and we really need to print up some more money." So, they will print up. We owe $1 million per taxpayer right now. They will triple it, quadruple it quickly, very quickly. They will just keep printing up money until they think that the problem is solved. Of course, what they're really doing is making the problem much, much worse, a structural problem, and ensuring that we can never, come back from this. Uh, we can't come back when you owe that much money. You can't do the things that you can do if you don't owe any money. I mean, if you don't owe any money, and anyone that thinks that we're in a red hot economy, oh my God, this you really, and that's why the stock market is going up. Really, if that was true, the banks would want the cash. Okay, they would want the cash because they can charge an interest rate. They can charge interest on it. The banks don't want the cash. They don't want. They want nothing to do. They don't want any more money. They're not going to lend it out. It does them no good. Follow the freaking money. That's all you have to do to figure out what's really happening is follow the money and don't listen to these stupid ass politicians. If you can manage to do that, then you will understand what's going on in the real world. Um, I'll keep you updated. Now, this is having an effect on bonds that nobody expected, and that includes me. Basically, the fact that the banks don't want any money, and it's clear right now. It is clear. They made it clear as hell this week that they are not taking any more money and that they don't want it. Um, so what it could possibly signal a bond rally. But either way, it's way too risky. I'm not getting involved in it. The fundamentals don't really support it. Um, the interest we could easily spin into 20% inflation, that type of thing. And owning a bond that pays, 2% interest, it certainly could turn into a nasty, nasty losing proposition. Um, so I'm gonna think about bonds more, but what I really like is obviously commodities. When they print out five, six, when they go from 1 million, everybody owing $1 million, from everybody to everybody owing $5 million, when they do it in like a year or two or a couple of years, um, the prices, like we've seen the inflation, we've seen the prices go up. It's nothing. What we've seen right now is just a little preview of what's going to happen. Gold will be $10,000 an ounce. There will be mass chaos. Gasoline will be $20 a gallon, and I know everybody thinks that I'm incorrect on this. No, I'm correct. just wait, just wait. When you have people that say gas is bad and there's no drilling and there's no pipelines and this that, and you cut yourself off from the gasoline supply, which is what we're doing right now. At the same time, you're printing up money and saying, it doesn't matter how much anything costs, we'll just print up more money. No, I mean, it's going to go to $20 a gallon, and there are going to be some serious life-altering consequences, and these consequences are going to last for the rest of my life, and our grandchildren will be talking about the consequences of what we're doing right now, how irresponsible we are, really, we're just nasty, nasty people. Borrowing money, saying our kids are going to pay for it just so that we can be greedier and greedier and greedier. It's unbelievable what we're doing, but we're doing it. Nobody. If you're against it, they'll say you want to kill babies. If you want sane fiscal policy and you want to build long-term wealth, and you want the country to go on a path where it doesn't owe all this money, and it can do what it wants to do instead of being a slave to debt. They'll say you're a baby killer. I mean, it's just crazy how psychotic people are now, and it's getting worse. I can't believe it. Like, just right when you think you couldn't get any worse, it's getting worse. Look at your Facebook. I mean, it's a disaster. The clueless, the blind leading the clueless. They can't even do basic math, and they think that oh God. All right, I'm just gonna stop. But like I said, this reverse repo signifies that the banks aren't going to be lending any money, and when the banks don't lend money, the economy goes down the freaking toilet. Okay, there's no other way to put it. It's going to happen. It could take, until the end of the summer. God only knows, but it's going to happen.